Look at this. This is England. This is what happens. This is what we mean by when you import the third world, you become the third world. So they put her in prison for 32 months. There was a Muslim guy who beat up someone and he only got 22 months in prison. You can disagree with a lot of things that Trump is doing, but at least he's standing up for his country and his values. Just 2 kilometers from the Vatican. Can you imagine some American Christians go to Mecca and just outside the Kaaba, they start preaching Christianity? You wouldn't see that happen. You can't even blame these people. You can't even blame Muslims for praying on the streets. They're Muslims. Of course, they're going to worship their God. Of course, they're going to pray wherever they can. Of course, they are even going to rub it in your face that this is our religion. This is who we are. We are right here in front of you. What are you going to do about it?
One day we can have a Muslim majority nation here in Canada. Right? Face.
All right, folks, this is Harris Sultan, and Muslims all around the world are celebrating this festival called Eid-ul-Adha. So there are two Eids. There is a mini Eid in which Muslims just go to each other's houses, they hug each other, they basically celebrate the end of Ramadan. So that's okay. That's peaceful. It's cute. It's nice. I have got nothing against it. But there's another one that comes after it, after Hajj. You know, that rock in Mecca that Muslims worship. They go round and round and round, and then they kiss that vagina-looking stone. So after that, they sacrifice animals, goats and sheep and cows. And the bigger the animal gets, the more brutal the method of slaughter gets. I think the whole of humanity should be ashamed that this brutal relic of the past is still being celebrated all across the world. When Muslims were doing that in Muslim countries, fine, nobody knew. And before the dawn of social media, before the age of handheld cameras, nobody knew how brutal this was. But the worst thing is now it's happening in Western cities, in European cities, which is the reason why European cities now resemble some of the worst third world cities in the world. Look at this. A bull is loose in Small Heath. He was probably about to get slaughtered by some Muslim in his backyard, which is obviously against the law, but obviously Muslims don't care about the law, and he's run away. Look at this. This is England. This is what happens. This is what we mean by when you import the third world, you become the third world. And unfortunately, we live in this woke-infested world where you can't even talk about it. Wokes who would lecture everyone else on morality, compassion, kindness to animals, even the climate, go absolutely quiet. And they don't play their part in pressuring governments into taking action against this inhumane, absolutely barbaric practice of slaughtering animals in their actually not millions, billions, in their billions. And it's a huge industry. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. So I'm going to share some videos with you that are going to show you how terribly Western countries have devolved. You know, countries evolve, but Western countries are devolving at such a rapid rate that I don't see a positive outcome out of that. There are only two possibilities. One, the West is going to fall with a whimper. Nobody's going to notice. People are going to keep thinking that, oh, I have my job to go to. I can't rock the boat. I can't cause controversy because you know what happened after the Southport massacre. Keir Starmer went after those people who expressed their anger, albeit the wording could have been better. But Keir Starmer used that opportunity to scare people into submission. If you say anything, even out of anger, you could go to jail. The case of Lucy Connolly, again, I don't agree with the words. She said, for all I care if you do this and that to the hotels that are carrying illegal migrants. She said, for all I care. Now, again, as I said, it's still insensitive, and some angry people did set a hotel on fire. They could not establish whether it was because of her words, but that's irrelevant. The details don't matter to our fascist leftist governments in the West. So they put her in prison for 32 months. There was a Muslim guy who beat up someone, and he only got 22 months in prison. So we live in this dystopian Britain, and I don't think the rest of the West is any different. Maybe America is a bit different under Trump. I hope so. You can disagree with a lot of things that Trump is doing, but at least he's standing up for his country and his values. But what we're seeing in Britain, what we're seeing in France, and now in Australia, I can't even show you some of those videos. African gang violence has gone through the roof in Australia. I showed you these statistics in my last video. I'm going to show them again to you, but nobody in Australia is talking about it. People are saying under their breath, but they're not saying it as they should be. Again, this is nothing against Sudan. I have a different theory on this. This is not a racist argument that I'm making. I'm making a cultural argument that different cultures have different propensity towards violence. A Japanese person is not as prone to committing a violent act as someone who comes from a war-torn country. Sudanese people make 0.1% of the Victorian population. Yet 8.6% of all aggravated burglaries that happen in Victoria, a Sudanese-born individual is behind that. They only make 0.14%. When it goes to aggravated robberies, the number goes up to 10%. Riot and affray, 8.3%. Car theft, 5.65%. Overall crime is 1.1%. So overall, they're still 10 times overrepresented. I am telling you, this is not how Australia was even before COVID. But Australians elected Labor again in the last elections, and even the Conservative Party, our Australian Liberal Party, even they are saying that we're going to keep bringing in people from hostile cultures. They just don't make that distinction. And the reason why they can't make that distinction is because in their minds, they still think that all cultures are the same. If you talk about it, you're racist. And because they are not racist, that's why they are not going to make that distinction. So you and I are racist who are looking at bare, hardcore, naked facts, stats. These are their own stats, by the way. These are not stats gathered by some right-wing organizations. These are government's own stats. But anyway, this video is about how Western cities are devolving into third world chaos. So I'm just going to share some videos with you. So this is in Rome, praying on the streets, just 2 kilometers from the Vatican. Can you imagine some American Christians go to Mecca and just outside the Kaaba, they start preaching Christianity? You wouldn't see that happen. This is Portugal. This is Lisbon. You can't even blame these people. You can't even blame Muslims for praying on the streets. They're Muslims. Of course, they're going to worship their God. Of course, they're going to pray wherever they can. Of course, they are even going to rub it in your face that this is our religion. This is who we are. We are right here in front of you. What are you going to do about it?
One day we can have a Muslim majority nation here in Canada. Right? Face.
Hey, we have Canadian law here, and you say that you want Sharia law to displace Canadian law. That doesn't sound very respectful.
In majority, you wouldn't have any other option. Go to your queen and tell her to change the laws.
Change the laws to what, sir? To Sharia law?
No, change the laws to not allow any more Muslims to come to Canada. We owe our allegiance and our loyalty first and foremost to our religion, not to the queen, to be honest. When I went for my so-called oath, I was silent. I didn't say anything. It was your responsibility to make sure you got it out of me.
It's the fault of Western governments. It's the fault of this leftist, neo-Marxist, wokery bullshit ideology that is exacerbating the problem. Look at this blonde Western woman in Egypt. People think that people who view women like this are going to suddenly change when they come to a country where women like this are in abundance. How do you think these people are going to behave when they see a lonely blonde woman walking in her own street in Paris or in London at night, all alone by herself? What do you think they're going to do? This is what they're doing in broad daylight. Again, it's a different culture. This is a harassment. I know this woman is probably baiting them into doing this, but it's a good experiment. All cultures are not the same. I made this tweet a couple of days ago and it went viral. Let me ask this question to you. What do you think will happen when millions of fighting age men come uninvited to highly prosperous yet passive Western countries? What do you think is going to happen? Look at this. They have come in their millions. They're all fighting age men. Where are the women and children? If these guys are fleeing persecution and war Why are they leaving their women and children behind? This is an invasion. So anyway, I posted this tweet and it got 600,000 views. And this is what's going to happen. I can't play this video. It's too violent. So this is, again, I've spent more than half of my life in Australia, and I'm telling you, Melbourne was one of the most peaceful cities in the world. Just like how people used to give examples of the Scandinavian countries as one of the most livable, most equitable countries in the world. And you just have to look at Sweden now. Sweden has had more explosions in 2024 than in Afghanistan and Pakistan combined. Sweden, one of the most livable countries. And Melbourne, throughout the 2010s, was consistently winning one of the most livable cities in the world. And this is what Melbourne is reduced to. Gangland warfare, African gangs are running amok. And this white dude is sitting there. And this guy, apparently he was released from a psych ward. He's an asylum seeker. And he gets up. I can't play the video. And he mercilessly beats the absolute daylight out of him with his girlfriend or daughter. You can't really see their faces. So he's with a girl. And to make matters worse, look at this. He's running away now from this guy. The ticket inspector, he tries to get involved and he does absolutely nothing. Of course, he can't do anything. You know, when there's when there's someone who's more aggressive, has got more testosterone than you, and he knows how to fight, and is absolutely crazy. Look at this. He's running away from him. And look at this. This is what the streets of London look like today. Oh my God. Oh my God. Look at these people. They've taken over. Never before in history, any culture or society has allowed itself to be taken over without a fight. I'm not calling for a fight. I'm not calling for riots. I am expecting a revolution on the ballot box. People are pinning their hopes on the Reform Party, and the Reform Party is going through its own upheaval at the moment. They have just asked to ban the burqa in Britain, but they don't have the numbers to do it. Hopefully they will have it soon. So this is where the Reform Party stands. And there's no equivalent of reform in Australia at the moment. So according to the recent national polls, the Reform Party is currently sitting at 25%, whereas Labour, Keir Starmer's Labour, is sitting at 24%, and the Tories are sitting at 21%. But the problem is general elections are nearly 4 years away. So the next general elections are going to be in 2029 in the UK, and who knows what's going to happen. I think things are going to get a lot uglier, which is only going to make reform more popular. I hope so. But the problem is Nigel Farage, I'm not his biggest fan. The way he's treated Tommy Robinson, I think Tommy Robinson is going to control the narrative. He's already extremely popular, and he's going to be even more popular in the coming months and years. And he's going to control the narrative. And Nigel Farage has consistently demonized Tommy Robinson. I just hope that it doesn't turn bloody. I really hope that it doesn't turn bloody. There's going to be a civil war in 5 to 10 years. I hope it doesn't happen. I really hope that people elect conservative parties, not the Tories, right-leaning parties, to bring some normality into our politics, because what you're seeing on the streets of London, Paris, these people, I know some of these people, and these people are not people of high. Of course, I can't talk about everyone, but the people sitting in the car, I know some of these people. And yeah, the less I say, the better. I really hope that people wake up. I think it's my job. I don't care about telling people that Islam is a nonsense religion. It's made up. I don't care about that anymore. If Muslims want to believe in that, more power to you. But this invasion has to stop.